Waguan Wonderful People. This is Denzel the Griffin, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a topic that some 3D artists choose to ignore and one that some pay too much attention to that takes up a lot of time. And this is something that an artist should consider but not necessarily struggle with. Okay, and of course, like the title and the thumbnail suggests, today we're going to be talking about the generalist versus the specialist. Which should you be? Okay, so which should you be, meaning that you're going to choose for yourself which you would be, and I'm not going to tell you which is better. I'm going to show you the two options for you to consider which you would prefer. But before we get into any of the nitty gritty stuff, let's talk about, okay, this is my last slide, the generalist versus the specialist, and I'll explain all this. We have the jack of all trades and a baby, lovely eyes. Okay, next slide. I have to talk about my personal experience. Okay, so my personal experience, I've tried being a generalist for quite some time, and honestly, being a beginner generalist is quite overwhelming. That's knowing that you're going to learn many things at once. Being the jack of all trades can be motivational, but at the same time, mind wrecking. So, me, I've tried it, and recently I decided on specializing. But what I do is not necessarily specializing, but I'm limiting my scope. So stick around to the end and I'll give you an exercise to do to find out if you should be a generalist or if you should be a specialist. Okay? So before moving forward, let's go ahead and define these terms. Because me, I've been one of many or the master of none. But at the end of the day, that just made me a baby in different aspects. Okay, so let's define these terms. Generalist. I have here a person competent in several different fields or activities. My definition in the 3D area now, or in the area of 3D, is a person that has knowledge to do tasks in all different fields of the creation process, be it in games or films. But in simpler terms, the one that can do it all. Let's look at specialist. A specialist is a person who concentrates primarily primarily on a particular subject or activity, highly skilled in a specific and restricted field. Now, my definition in the area of 3D is a person that has knowledge to do a part of the many parts in the creation process, be it in films or games. In simpler terms, the one that cannot do it all. So now I have two reading recommendations, and this is something we're going to be doing on the channel. Where when I'm discussing topics like this, I'll try to give you something to read. Now, for the generalist, I have Range: Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World by David Epstein or Epstein, one of the two. Anywho, had to had to take a quick pause, but I believe where I was I was saying that this Range: Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World by David Epstein. Epstein, yeah. So this book, Range, I personally have not read, but doing research for this video, I found it and it seems absolutely amazing. And I did read some excerpts from the book, and I listened to a podcast by the author, and it seemed really nice. And I think I will read this very soon. So that's for the generalist, and in that book he discusses a lot of topics, and we'll go into a little more on that later on in the video. So for the specialist, I have The Win Without Pitching Manifesto by Blair Enns. Now this book is absolutely amazing. This I have read, and I have to say this absolutely nice. It was recommended by a mentor, Chris Doe, Chris Chris Doe, Chris Doe, and he said that this is the one book that every creative should absolutely read, and reading it personally, I think it is absolutely amazing. So let's just discuss these books one after the other. The Generalist now, Range. Okay, so in the book he talks about something very interesting where he talks about uh, the generalist being the Superman, and you could have one Superman instead of gathering the Fantastic Four. And that is something I found very interesting because he talks about it a lot, and he talks about how uh, everything is too specialized. So limiting yourself to being a specialist is going to basically limit your capabilities. And I find it interesting as well, but that's for you to decide which you want to be. And for the specialist, Blair Enns has divided this book into different sections. I can't remember what they're called, but different sections. And one of the 12, I think, is we will specialize. And he goes over in depth why it is a good idea to specialize. He talks about, and his definition of specialization is not as you may think. So I suggest you read the book. He says that you ought to specialize very much. That is, uh, creating a particular area of your niche or genre where you have complete advantage over anybody else. That is, what you do can be done by only you and by only your firm or creative business. So what you do can be done by only you, and if they're looking for that, you are the go-to person, and that's very interesting. After thinking about it, because being a specialist, by what he defines, is not the generic specialist that doesn't know anything about any other field. He's talking about knowing so much in your own area that when they think of this, they're going to think of you with no questions asked. Okay, so after all this rambling, I'm sure you're still asking the question: a generalist or a specialist, which should I be? Well, uh, I'm going to tell you to read those books and to consider what you can or cannot do. And like the project I said I would give you towards the end of the video, let's talk about that now. So, personally, I did this and I attempted to make a short film. Now, I have attempted this 3 times. I've attempted to make 3 short films and 1 series, 2 series actually, and I failed most of the time. But I found myself enjoying one part of the process very much, and I found myself stopping at one part. So don't be ashamed of having weaknesses and having things that you cannot do. If you can't do it, you just can't do it. You can try to learn it, but that will take a lot of time. And at the end of the day, you might not still be as good as the people that can do it. Okay, so I enjoyed the storytelling aspect. I enjoyed creating the character or the characters. So basically, what I said is that I can do the story, I can do the characters, but I can't, not necessarily I can't, but I just can't tolerate the fact, can't tolerate doing environments, animation, and all that. So I accepted my faith and decided that this is long overdue and I actually ought to have specialized. And now I'm looking to become a character artist. So I am a character artist as of now, and I'm looking to create characters. So the next thing, I'm giving you 3 points here, but in coming videos we should be talking about 6 things, and that's for a completely different reason, don't mind me. So the last thing we'll talk about is, will you be a Superman or one of the Fantastic Four? And now there is no shame in being any of the two. You can be the guy that knows it all, and there are some of them that do exist and that are very successful in the 3D world now. I can't name any off the top of my head. Or you can be a specialist. And being a specialist doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do only one thing. As a character artist, I know how to make a character, I know how to rig a character, I know how to light a character, and I know a bit of rendering. So you can't say that I'm a specialist because I make only a character, because I'm not specializing in the aspect of I make a character, I know only how to sculpt. I know how to retopologize now. So my specializing is not necessarily being very limited. You can still broaden your scope, but just consider what you will. I think we're coming to the end of the video. Yep, we're at the end of the video. Yep, we're at the end of the video. Well, this has been fun, guys. If you enjoyed this video, consider clicking that red subscribe button and the thumbs up button to show YouTube that you like this video. Share with a friend. Trust me, they'll love you for it. If you didn't enjoy this video, tell me why in the comment section, but still consider subscribing to see more changes. Follow me on socials. On Instagram, I am Denzel the Griffin. That is Denzel underscore D underscore Griffin. That is DENZEL_THE_GRIFFIN. And you can find me on Outstation by searching the same name. Until I end up on your screen again, this is the Griffin signing out.